Hello and welcome to my math tutorial video. We're going to be multiplying and dividing monomials. Hope you enjoy! A monomial is an expression that contains one term. A common base is basically the main number or numbers you do the main math with. Alright, so let's start off. 2 to the power of 2 times 2 to the power of 3 equals 2 to the power of 5. When you have monomials with common bases and you're multiplying, you add the exponents. Keep the common base, which in this case would be 2, and add the exponents, which would be 2, 3. Do not multiply the common bases with the exponents. So, 2 to the power of 5 would be your final answer. Variables can be common bases too. So in this problem, x to the third power times x to the negative second power would equal x. Because first of all, we keep the common base, which is x, and we would add the exponents or the powers. So 3 plus negative 2 would be 1. And since it's just to the first power, it's not multiplied, well, it's just the same. It'll be just the same, so we don't have to show the 1 for the power. So then x would be your final answer. Now let's talk about coefficients. A coefficient is a number placed before a variable to multiply it in an algebraic expression. For instance, our problem is 2x to the second power times 3x to the third power, which equals 6x to the fifth power. In this case, 2, 3, and 6 are the coefficients. Make sure not to confuse them for common bases. In this case, the common base is the x. And you can already tell where the exponents are, 2, 3, and 5. If the variables have coefficients, which are 2, 3, and 6, you multiply the coefficients separately and keep the common base, which is x. Remember, coefficients and powers or exponents are separate because the exponent is not directly next to the coefficient. It does not interact or associate with the coefficient. So multiplying the coefficients 2 and 3, we would get 6. Keeping the common base, we would have x still. And adding the exponents or powers, we would get 5. So our answer would be 6x to the fifth power. Go ahead and circle that. So what happens if our monomials do not have a common base? If the monomials we're multiplying do not have a common base, you simply solve them as is. For instance, 3 to the second power would be 9, and 2 to the second power would be 4. So 9 times 4 equals 36. Okie dokie, let's take a break from multiplication and move on to division. Now let's move on to our division problem. So here we have 6 to the third power divided by 6 to the second power, which would equal just 6. Now the rules are a bit similar when you're dividing monomials. When you're dividing, you keep the common base, just like when you're multiplying. In this case, the common base is 6. However, instead of adding the exponents, you subtract them. You subtract from up to down. So it'd be 3 minus 2, which would be 1. And since it's to the power of 1, we don't need to add it in. So now here we've got our division problem. 15m to the fourth power divided by 5m to the second power. So like before with multiplying, we kept our common base, but then we have our coefficients here, so we just divide it because we're also dividing now. And remember, the coefficients don't interact with the exponents because they're not directly next to them. So 15 divided by 5 would be 3, keeping the common base m, and subtracting 2 from 4 because these are the powers. So then our answer would be 3m to the second power. Once again, the coefficients are separate from the exponents. Now I have one last problem. It's also a monomial division problem. It's not really necessary, but just in case you come across something like this, I'd say that you should start down here. So 5 to the third power times 5 to the second power. Once again, you keep the common base. So then this would basically be 5 to the fifth power, because you're also adding the exponents or the powers. So then it would be 5 to the seventh power divided by 5 to the fifth power, keeping the common base, 5, and subtracting 5 from 7 because they're the powers. So then our final answer would be 5 to the second power. And that is how you multiply and divide monomials. Thank you for watching my math tutorial. Hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.